right? He's a step behind. Oh,
All right, listen. There's a lot of problems with the heavyweight division, but right now in the intermediate rankings and below towards the bottom, really there's only the top five, maybe top six heavyweights that are really truly skilled. The rest of them are all just fat slobs.
I think that's a fact. I mean, you just look at the heavyweight division, you're just seeing a whole bunch of double D cups walking around in the octagon, and it just gets very annoying after a certain point, and it's just something that has to change. And I think it's something that will change over time. Over the next couple of years, we have more heavyweights coming in. I feel like it's going to start to change. First off, too many fat people, way too many fat people, right? I'm tired of just like big guys just coming to the UFC just because there's not enough big guys in MMA, right? We need to be looking for athleticism. I'm tired of seeing these just like fat slobs just walk into the octagon and then just like stumble their way into a couple wins and now they're in the rankings. And then now we have to see them against actual competition and then they just absolutely suck. I'm tired of it.
More skill at the top. As I mentioned earlier, at the top, I mean, these six guys really are the only talented heavyweights. Everyone else is just. I mean,
Pitiful.
maybe if you want, you could throw in Waldo Cortez Acosta, but you know, even after him, I mean,
He
what's
lost to
left? I mean, it's just a
Volkov. I mean,
wasteland.
yeah.
It's just a wasteland.
After these couple guys, it just becomes a wasteland. There's no like excitement other than Gable Steveson, but he hasn't even had his first fight yet. So it's like there's no excitement out in the heavyweight division outside of these guys. So that's why I feel like the heavyweight division is very top heavy. All the skill is at the top. So it's very
And I would like to point out, notice how none of these six guys, including Waldo Cortez Acosta, if you like to include him, none of these six guys are walking around with double D cups.
yeah, they're all in shape. They don't have to go to Forever 21 and get double D cups. They're chilling, right? They don't have to
And
get
they
these.
also don't need custom jeans.
Yeah, they also don't need extra large tampons. So just put in those terms how we're talking. You can no longer just be a bigger guy. What I used to hate when I was watching UFC fights as a commentary team, try to make up for these guys being so fat, where they would say, everyone talks about this guy's weight. This guy just kind of performs at a heavier weight, and then you see him gas out in the second round. Not everyone can be like DC. Sometimes, some of us need to put the Popeyes down during fight camp.
Yeah, some of us really need to just like learn that, it's okay to not have to cut weight for heavyweight. Okay, it's okay to do that.
It's okay to not.
Yeah,
You don't have to finish every meal. You could put it in the fridge and save it for later. Okay, you don't need to stuff your face like that. You know.
exactly. I mean, we can walk around 265, guys. Some of y'all aren't even 6 feet tall, and we're walking around above 265. I mean, we do not need to do that.
There is literally no need. You could be at 235 heavyweight and succeed. You do not need to cut to heavyweight. Okay, you're not helping anyone, especially not helping your heart. You know that extra weight is not helping you. It's diabetes. You need to lose it. All right, it's not helpful in any way.
And a lot of these guys are probably thinking, well, I mean, I'm an athlete, so I don't even need to watch that. Well, if you don't watch that, soon that foot will be amputated.
Yeah, you want to talk about footwork? You're not gonna have any footwork because you're not gonna have a foot. So you need to start looking at your diet, making sure you're under 265 the entire year. All right, or else you're not gonna be able to walk into a cage. You're gonna be getting wheeled in with a peg leg. The bigger guys in the UFC can now move. We saw it in the main event at the White House. Sirigan was literally dancing around Alex Pereira while he was literally just standing there. And I know I had Alex Pereira in the slide before, but I feel like Alex Pereira still beats almost every heavyweight outside of like the top six, top seven. And it's just you see it in Josh Hockey. He's a heavyweight that can move, and now he's like one of the top heavyweights in the division. If you're a heavyweight and you can move, I feel like you're gonna be very, very well off in this division, very easily too.
Pereira's another guy. You know, I'm sure we'll touch on it a little later, but you know, when you move up, you don't need to move up to be a 265er. You can be a 230 or 240er. Okay, but one of Pereira's problems was, you know, even though he's moving up, he was heavier than gone.
Right? You don't
I
need to be
mean,
the heaviest guy in the octagon to be the best. Those two don't, equate to each other. You don't need to be bigger to be better. You can be better and smaller at the same time.
Exactly.
We're seeing an influx of light heavyweights coming up to clean out the heavyweight division. Johnny Walker has talked about moving up. Hopefully he doesn't come in too big. I know he's a pretty big light heavyweight, but I think pretty sure he wants to fight Ante Delija. That's gonna be a pretty cool fight to watch. But then you see Alexander Rakic fighting Marcin Tybura. Marcin Tybura being one of those bigger heavyweights, plottier, kind of just fat and sluggish. Alexander Rakic is a threat, and he's gonna come clean out the heavyweight division, cleanse it of people like Marcin Tybura. I mean, seeing him come up, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be great to see heavyweight kind of finally get some athletes back in it.
I will be expecting an extermination here.
I'm expecting a slime out, a murder, you would say. For me personally, I see grappling dominating the heavyweight division pretty soon. You're seeing some great grapplers come into the division. I think everyone's going to kind of realize you can't just get by a heavyweight with decent takedown defense and a little bit of striking. You're going to have to learn how to grapple if you want to make it anywhere in heavyweight. You're seeing Gable Steveson. He's going to be coming through the UFC. The champion Tom Aspinall has pretty good grappling already. Josh Hawkins is a collegiate wrestler. He has pretty good grappling. Hamdi, I'm pretty sure, is an Olympian or something like that. I'm pretty sure I heard on commentary from Egypt. And then Walter Walker has pretty good jiu-jitsu with leg locks. All these guys are coming up who are already in the division, and I think the rest of the heavyweights going to have to catch up and figure out how can I beat these guys when they get those matchups. So everyone's going to have to start to learn how to grapple at some point in time.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of the heavyweights of the past, we saw, where their holes were. I mean, Derek Lewis, we love the Black Beast, but, that just get up takedown defense, that's not always going to work. I mean, we saw a lot against DC, Hokit, guys like that. We saw it against, and I mean, obviously, yeah, Derek was a little washed now, but I mean, even in his prime against DC and that title shot, I mean, he kind of just got dominated.
Yeah.
On the ground.
Literally on the ground. And just getting up won't work heavyweight now because these guys actually are going to have some grappling skill to actually keep you down. It's no longer just a fat guy on your back where it's like, okay, rock him off a little bit, get him off balance, then you can get up. They're going to know how to stay on top of you. So you're going to have to actually learn how to grapple your way back up. You do not have to be a fat piece of bacon or a Roy Cheat. Listen, when Alex Pereira moved up, he gained way too much weight. He came in heavier than Gone and didn't even look bigger than him, to be honest. He did not look bigger than Gone. The fact that he was heavier than him, I think that played a big role where he was kind of slow. He didn't have any footwork. Usually he's not moving that much, but I mean, even in the heavyweight fight, he was not moving at all. Not even in his head. He had no movement. And I feel like that's why Gone was kind of able to just pick at him and then TKO him. He just was not able to move, and I feel like it was because of the extra weight too. If he came in about 235, he probably would have been a lot more athletic, would have been able to do a lot more in that fight, but because he didn't, he was so heavy, he kind of lost his athleticism and that, where he was like against Khalil Roundtree, he was doing a lot of like slick athletic movements. I don't think he was going to even be able to do that against Gone if it even got to that point.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, it's, again, moving up, you don't always have to be at that weight limit. You can be under it.
And especially for the current heavyweights, you do not need to be that big. Especially because it's like, yeah, you're 265, but you're like, bro, I can't even see the UFC logo on your shorts because you have fat rolling off your side. You do not need to be 265. You could lose a little bit of weight and you'll be fine, And also, we don't need Roy Cheats in the sport. We don't. It just makes the whole sport look bad. They put Rizvan Kuniev in there. He lost to Blades, I'm pretty sure. And then they kept trying to push him to the top. This guy is literally a Roy Cheat. Why do we need him? I get it. I get that. The UFC heavyweight division, it was kind of dry. But we do not need to bring in Roy Cheats. It just makes the sport look bad when we resort to bring in the literal cheaters of the sport to make our sport appear better. When we really don't need them. It just doesn't really help the sport in any way. All right, so I think that concludes the video. That's all I really got. Yeah.
His parents put him in training because he was overweight, but they own a bakery.
Oh!